What you was thinking when Tank did that when he took the knee? What you was thinking when he took the knee?
I can't speak on it.
Can't think on that?
Can't speak on it.
He did some bullshit though?
I can't speak on it.
You have no personal opinion, nothing?
After leaked recordings surfaced of Gervonta Davis' conversation with his corner, the boxing world knew trouble was brewing. But things took an even bigger turn when audio Gervonta Davis speaking with the referees also made its way to the public.
Steve said, fight out of the clinch. That's what we were gonna do. He came in the back and was like, I'm gonna let you fight out, especially if one arm is loose or whatever the case may be, as long as...
That was the final straw. It not only intensified the controversy, but also became the Gervonta Davis behind. Lamont Rematch's appeal. Clips Gervonta Davis, the new State Athletic Commission, chose to downplay his efforts, dismissing the recordings as insignificant. In the end, their response only fueled even more controversy within the boxing world.
Simple. So I was like, all right, the ref started counting. When I'm looking at him, I'm like, the ref started counting. But I see him get up and go to the corner.
New York State Athletic Commission continues to review referee Steve Willis's controversial handling of Lamont Rematch Jr.'s knockdown of Gervonta Davis on Saturday night. A compelling discussion on ProBox TV analyzed the incident on Wednesday, with veteran boxing writer Gervonta Davis weighing in. If they correct just one thing, Lamont Rematch wins the fight, Raphael stated. Referencing Gervonta Davis, he argued that Willis's poor officiating cost Rematch a championship and denied him the opportunity to hand America's top fighter his first loss. Speaking on his podcast, renowned trainer and analyst Teddy Atlas also gave his candid thoughts on the refereeing. When asked about the controversial moment in round 9, Atlas didn't hold back in his assessment of the situation.
I'm sorry. I'm terrible. I am, but I'm ashamed of myself. I am so cynical, but this sport has made me cynical. I'm sorry. I don't see anyone's going to make...
Suggested that the referee's actions were questionable, even hinting at the possibility of bribery, as he doubted the same leniency would have been shown to Rematch. We need better refs, more educated, better trained officials, or whatever Gervonta Davis stated. I'm not going to say honesty was the issue, because I don't know that for sure. But what I do know is we need referees who can make the right call.
Is going to reprimand this referee? What are they going to do? I mean, it happens too often. It's happened too often. I don't know. We need a national commission. That's the only thing I can think of.
Stand by their decisions and have the courage to enforce the rules fairly. Atlas didn't mince words when comparing the treatment of both fighters. I don't think that ref would have let Rematch get away with what Gervonta Davis with. Why? Because Gervonta Davis
right now. But the last thing I want to say to put a bow on this one, Bud, we talked about the controversial part, but I want to...
I think he set a record for the most fans ever at Barclays Center. Tay Davis. I'm wrong, but I believe. They hit a new attendance record, maybe even a gate record. That arena has hosted concerts, fights, and basketball games. Yet,
the great part, that was high-level boxing. That was two guys at the highest level showing their skills.
This event pulled in big numbers Gervonta Davis. He attracts crowds, has a massive fan base, and consistently delivers strong pay-per-view sales. I don't know the exact numbers for this fight. Gervonta Davis, one of those guys who always generates solid pay-per-view figures. That's just part of what he brings to the table.
Guy miss and you counter, and then all of a sudden you're in front of him. Boop! You're the invisible man. You're on the... That's sweet science too, yes. And it's easier to see. It grabs your attention. Oh, wow, look at that guy. He's on the outside.
A referee allows a fighter to take a knee, which isn't even a rule in boxing, and lets it slide without calling a 10-8 round when it clearly should have been. That's a serious problem. Just before that, he got hit with a jab. Now, I'm not trying to go after Gervonta Davis, already say I defend him too much or hype him up.
Middle of the furnace with all the flames and everything going, and you don't get burnt up. you don't get torched, you don't get scorched. That
up. And listen, Gervonta Davis, tremendous, well-rounded fighter, powerful inside and outside, patient, defensively responsible, with fast hands. He puts punches together, works the body, counters effectively, and sets traps beautifully. But in this case, he was wrong. He got away with it because Gervonta Davis, the issue isn't the fighters, it's the people running the sport. There's too much corruption, too many bad decisions, and we keep seeing it happen when
Something funny. We was talking in like the 12th round, I think the 12th or 11th. We was talking shit, right? But he like, you ain't gonna win.
Gervonta Davis a jab, and a second or two later, he takes a knee. Gervonta Davis, sorry, but that's a knockdown. If your knee touches the canvas within that time frame, it's a knockdown, plain and simple. This isn't football. There are no fair catches here. You know what I mean? Like you pointed out last night, if this were football, it'd be a touchback. Gervonta Davis, certain situations make sense there. But not in boxing. There are rules for a reason. Even Terrence Crawford, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters, right up there in the top 3, was surprised. Eno Ayanusik came out and said, "I didn't know that was a rule. I guess I must have been sleeping when they passed." That one, Atlas joked. Maybe he didn't say this, but I'll add maybe he was out doing road work or something. Too busy training when this so-called rule was made up. I said it earlier, this isn't the Indianapolis 500. You can't just pull into pit row because your oil needs changing. Your tires need swapping, or you've got grease in your eye. There's no pit row in boxing. Tank went down on a knee, and Roach, give him credit, had every right to go after him. The Gervonta Davis right Roach would have been well within his rights to press the Gervonta.
Were you surprised as everybody else? What was on your mind?
Man, I was surprised, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I thought it was a 10-8.
Gervonta Davis lands shots on opponents who are turning or walking away. And the referee doesn't step in unless the bell rings or he directly intervenes. If your opponent is still in the fight, you have the right to
Counting. While I'm looking at him, I'm like, the rest started counting. But I see him get up and go to the corner. So now I'm just like, all right, now I'm confused. I don't know what's going on.
Did you think?
Roach had that right. He chose to be a gentleman, a sportsman. Give referees also made its way to the public. That was the final straw. It not only intensified the controversy, but also became the Gervonta Davis behind. Lamont Roach's appeal. The new State Athletic Commission chose to downplay his efforts, dismissing the recordings as insignificant. In the end, their response only fueled even more controversy within the boxing world.
We're starting to fight, but then again, like when I look at him in the corner, I'm like, what is going on? Like, I don't know. I don't know now. I just don't know what's going on. Besides,
Athletic Commission continues to review referee Steve Willis's controversial handling of Lamont Roach Jr.'s knockdown of Gervonta Davis on Saturday.
It's sad to say, you know, that's how boxing works. I'm not like totally upset. I figured with a superstar.
Discussion on ProBox TV analyzed the incident on Wednesday, with veteran boxing writer Gervonta Davis weighing in. If they correct just one thing, Lamont Roach wins the fight, Raphael stated. Referencing Gervonta Davis, he argued,
You won't get too much on paper. But shit, I damn sure thought I had it. Especially when they announced the score for him. I was like, oh, they gonna give me.
that Willis's poor officiating cost Roach a championship and denied him the opportunity to hand America's top fighter his first loss. Speaking on his podcast, renowned trainer and analyst Teddy Atlas also gave his candid thoughts on the